Season 7, Episode 4, number 269 of the Decoded Podcast. How's it going, Chris?
Boom. Just like that. It's going good. It's going good. How was that sip?
That sip was excellent. For my birthday, I got I don't know, 50 really neat coffee pods. Like this one I'm drinking is called Blueberry Cobbler.
Ugh.
So they're all funny.
That was judgy. Sorry. That hit me in the wrong way.
So it's funny.
Despite you give me a tray of Blueberry Cobbler, like I won't even wait for the spoon. I'm going in with my hands. I'm like, this is awesome. The idea of that in a coffee though, but continue.
Yeah, so what's funny about all this, just this morning because my in-laws, they gave it to me in a gift bag. So I have a gift bag that's full of those Keurig pods, and they're all whacked blueberry cobbler, ice cream sundae, just whacked flavors, okay? And this morning, and so what I do is I open the pantry and I stick my hand in the bag.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Randomize it.
Whatever I get's what I'm drinking. And this morning I laughed. I laughed because I was like, Chris is gonna die, because you strike me as a more of a Puritan when it comes to coffee. Like you don't want the bells and whistles, if you could even
I
call
just
it.
want it done. Yeah, for me. Well, you saw my posts in the summer, right? The whole coffee
Yes.
vlog. Like I have, and it's not even really like I don't have specific criteria. I've just my story too for the family. Like when I worked for the restaurant, and that badge of honor when they no longer were calling my coffee dirty water. Up to that point, dude, like I would drink any coffee. Like, and that was a pivotal point in my food world when I did the chef's apprenticeship, and it was my turn after we did family lunch. And then they're like, okay, Chris, go make coffee. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And each person in the, I want a macchiato, I want a cappuccino, I want a cappuccino. I'm like, okay. So there's usually about 7 or 8 of us around the table. So I'm going to make 8 coffees, bring them back as they're ready, because the machine, you can't make 8 at the same time. But I'll tell you, I was broken into what good coffee should taste like. So maybe there are some purist elements, and I will try, but I don't try it. It becomes kind of I will say I don't try it expecting to like it, but I will try it to try and understand it, I guess. But I would not. I would probably take the blueberry cobbler and maybe give it to a friend. The ice cream sundae sounds interesting to me. If there were hints of vanilla in that, I'd be down with that. I like vanilla flavored coffee that has vanilla in it. So
my wife.
Tell me about this one though, before you go on. How does this one taste?
It smells. The smell is always more accurate than the taste, in my opinion.
On the nose, it's accurate.
And on the nose, it smells like what a blueberry cobbler, like you can smell fresh blueberries and like a hint of, like when I taste it,
little vanilla in there, little sort of like sugar smelling on the nose, that crumble, a little bit of that.
Yes. Some of them have been surprisingly accurate based on my idea of the item. Like, it's weird because, so what I've done a couple of times is I put the coffee in, closed it. I don't even know what I got. And then as soon as it starts coming out of the machine, I can smell it. I'm like, this has something to do with ice cream. Like I can smell, or I'm like, this is chocolate flavored, but I don't know what chocolate.
So sometimes you'll go random and blind.
Yes.
Like you won't. I like that. That's cool. That's that kind of game. I would play that game. But if I tasted it, I'm like, okay, and I didn't like it, I poured it. I'm like, no.
Fair enough. I'm not there yet. I haven't done that. this morning I thought to myself, do I go with the mystery bag or do I get a McCafe? Do I go old school and just
Mhm,
enjoy the taste of what that is, you know?
mhm.
I'm like, fuck that. No, I'm going to go with the mystery bag. Um, my wife says I should every day I should do a little thing like what you did, like a little report. Like I pull it out, this is what I got, and then do a thing. But I could do that, but I don't know if I've ever had a real coffee. Like I don't even know how to define that. There's a there's a place in Kitchener. My buddy says I have to get a coffee there. I have to get an Americano. Uh,
Mm,
he just go in and tell them you want an Americano,
mhm,
just black, and he goes, "It'll
mhm,
blow your mind." I'm like, "What does that even mean?
mhm.
What does that mean?" He goes, "It's perfect coffee. It's the perfect coffee."
Do you? Do you know what Americano is? Do you know what they do?
I don't know what they do, but somebody told me the history of why it's called an Americano, which I
Yeah,
thought
it's
was kind of cool. Do you know
American
that?
tour American tourists going to Europe, basically they don't have the brewed coffee, so they brew them. It's basically an espresso with hot water added to it.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Like, okay. And
yeah.
is that a good coffee?
It's what I order at Starbucks.
Oh, okay. Well, what are
Yeah,
some of
if
the other
I'm
ones?
what's that?
What are some of the other ones?
Well, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. So,
But what's the most popular? So Americano's popular.
well, you can't even do that anymore because everybody wants to be everyone wants to a piece of the Starbucks customization. I like a couple of the ones that I like. I like an American. Like if I'm going for if I'm here's the way it works. So when I take Jake to rehearsal, there's a Starbucks right nearby. So I'll
Mhm.
just stay at the Starbucks. I'll do some schoolwork. I'll order a decaf Americano. Don't normally like one because I'm always cautious of keeping my caffeine down, but I'm also like I want something to kind of sip on, and it's like 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
So I'll get that. I also like another one called a cortado. Cortado, and that's in some ways like imagine like a mini latte, like an intense mini latte, no foam on it. And sometimes I'll get that. So latte, you have your espresso, and then you put some sort of milk in it to water it down. Sometimes if I'm feeling like I want dessert, but not dessert, I'll have them make that shit with 10% cream. So they'll actually foam up, like steam up 10% cream and put that in a double espresso with just a little bit of maple syrup in it. That's a tasty little coffee. Yeah. Lattes, I can take it or leave it. Cappuccino, right? That's sort of like your espresso with, I think you could probably find an infographic, but my take on cappuccino is kind of like equal parts for the most part of espresso and steamed milk with a little bit of foam on top. Your latte is like, let's say one eighth espresso and then top it up with steamed milk and a little bit of foam on top. So it's a longer, more milky kind of a drink. Cortado, equal but short, like very, very short amounts of espresso. Short just means the amount of time that you actually run the machine. So you can
Mhm.
run it short and long. So a double is extra actual coffee, short and long is the amount of time that it's actually brewing the coffee. So you could that's why this whole Starbucks world, you could actually hear someone say, okay, I'd like uh, a double long Americano. Double long Americano would be like two shots of espresso, double long, run it through the machine twice as long as what you would normally do. And
Ugh.
then top it with water. I'll stop.
Well, I'm
Stop.
just there's like you said, there is many. There's a lot. I don't know.
Is there such thing? Is there your background Lebanese?
Hmm.
Lebanese. Is there coffee? Is there a coffee culture to that?
Hmm.
What's that look like? Well, I feel like we talked about this once. Is Lebanese coffee a pot coffee? Like you put the grounds in and kind of boil it and then just pour off the coffee?
Yes. So and I think it's Turkish coffee that my mother used to make.
Yeah, Greeks. I think Greeks make something similar, and they make it. They call it in a brik. I think a briki, and it literally looks like a little teeny metal pot, and you're throwing that shit in there with the water, boil the crap out of it, and then just pour the coffee out of it. Keep the grounds behind if you can.
So that's yes, and I remember when my mom taught me how to make it. So when we'd have company and I knew how to make it, she's like, "Go make coffee." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Okay." So my we had it looked more like a coffee mug with a handle,
yeah,
right? It
yeah,
was about this big, and I would put 2 teaspoons of the coffee in the thing, and then I put water in it to a
yeah.
certain level, and then I'd boil. And when it started to boil, I would start mixing it and removing it off the heat, mixing back on the heat for I don't know how long. And then when it was finished, I would pour it into the. We have all the stuff here because when my mom came to visit me many years ago,
Send
she
me pics. I want to see this stuff. I
she
want to see.
gift
I love this.
she gifted us the pot and the little cups and saucers so that when she comes over, we could just make her the coffee the way that she
Of
likes the
course.
coffee. And then yeah, you pour it and you let it sit for I don't know 5 minutes or something. And then as people drink, they drink it slow. And then at the end, they all the grounds are at the bottom, and
Mhm.
then they turn their cup over onto the saucer. Wait 5, 10 more minutes, then flip it back over and look at the inside and see how things
Prognosticate.
exactly. So then they
I
start
love it. I
that
love it.
was that's the culture that I grew up. So I would watch them sit in the kitchen with my mom as she made it. Then I would watch them talking and drinking. Then I would watch them talking and analyzing, and then the time would be over.
That'd be an awesome podcast. That would be an awesome podcast episode. Lebanese coffee. Lebanese coffee talk. What's is it coffee? Do you know how to say, can you say coffee in Lebanese? Is it to,
I can't. It's not coming to me right now, but if it does, I'll.
yeah, yeah, drop it somewhere.
Shit. It's stuff
Sorry,
like this.
I'm
I miss
digging
this
down
stuff.
into your brain. Yeah.
I'm glad you're digging because I wanna mention something in a second that has to do with my culture and my family. But first, say good morning to Rochelle. Welcome,
Morning,
Rochelle.
Rochelle. Yeah, instead of beer hunters. Yeah, so this past summer, Rochelle, I was traveling down to Myrtle, and I put up some post about a good coffee I had at one of the I think it was one of the gas stations. Like it still was like the second best. I don't know, at a Marathon or a Loves. I'd have to go back and read the posts. So as I was going, I was sort of writing about the coffee, and then it was. And Chids is like, you should totally do a video, like a video vlog on this. I'm like, I can't. I got too many other things going on, but I can do some writing while I'm on the move. Um, so I have posts up on my Insta where it actually I think I got up to coffee cup 9 and I still haven't posted the last piece. Like it's just sitting there. But the pursuit of coffee actually turned into a little bit of a travel log. And then I was still talking about the different cups, but then, there was a little bit of a coffee review, but then there was also like, there was kind of like a project that my spouse and I were working on when we were traveling down there. And it had to do with going for um, a sit and get about a timeshare. So yeah, it was cool though. I was actually surprised. The first best coffee I had, I don't even remember the name of the place, was actually in Charleston in the Carolinas. Absolutely delicious. And it was either a cortado. I think it was a cortado that I got there. Delicious coffee. Pilot? Was it called Pilot, the place? Maybe it was called Pilot. And the second best was actually, I think, from Marathon, like one of the, like down in the States, if you've done the traveling down there, they have these Uber mini cities that are gas stations. We went to this one there that was so cool. It was, they had a full on, and I'd never seen this before, not a trucker hotel, but like a trucker wellness part of it, where the truckers could come in. They had pay showers. I figured these kind of existed somewhere, but I'd never seen them. So pay showers, massage chairs, like you could sit and get your shiatsu. They had a place where you could sit and watch TV, but it was like pay-per-view. So you could sit in the massage chairs, you'd slide your card and you could pay for an hour of streaming television. It was clean. Like it was gorgeous. It was like a nice little rest stop and not too expensive. And I think it was at that one that the coffee was awesome too. So loved it.
Well, that's good that the coffee is good at the place where people are paying for their shower and their
Yeah.
relaxation. Like you want to feel good, I guess, right? And
Yep.
I would argue that many people talk about good coffee and that that is part of wellness for many people. So good coffee equals wellness. Wellness sometimes equals good coffee. I like that. Rochelle says um, she apologized. She just started with good morning. You don't have to start with anything. You just do what you want, Rochelle.
You know what, Rochelle? Start with a good coffee. Start with good coffee. Everything follows. Everything
So that's
follows.
what I'm going to do on Twitter now. I'm going to start writing GC to people in the morning instead of
Good
GM.
coffee.
Good
Good
coffee.
coffee.
Now, this is funny. I thought about talking about this, but I wasn't gonna, but now I'm gonna because thank you, Rochelle's congratulating me on my work anniversary with the board. Okay, so the other day
How many years?
I think 21 according to LinkedIn with this
Okay.
board. And then I did 2 with Ottawa. So this is my 24th year. Anyway, which is crazy. So I'm getting these notifications. People are congratulating me on my work anniversary, and I'm like I'm literally like, what did I do? Did I press a button or something? With LinkedIn, in their infinite AI wisdom or whatever's running their site, I guess looks at the computer was like, oh, according to Roland's LinkedIn, he said he started working here at this time, and now he's still working here. So that's a 21-year anniversary. We're gonna just post it out for him. I did not post anything about anything, and yet there's something posted. Congratulate Roland on his work anniversary, and I was like, no, this is not. I don't do this. Just like you and I aren't walking around bragging about having 269 episodes of the Decoded podcast. That's not how we roll. That's not what we do at this moment in time.
That was subtle though. That was nice. I like how
So,
you did that. I
so
like how you
thank
just you're right. We are not bragging that this is episode
269.
269, 7 seasons of dedicated broadcasting every Saturday. We are not bragging about that.
No, we're
But
not.
I digress you.
So thank you, Rochelle, and thank you to like the 4 other random people on LinkedIn who are like, congrats, Roland. I'm like, this is so dumb. I should probably delete it because I think I have that control, but I certainly didn't post it because I think that's dumb. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. So since okay, so Rochelle, thank you for the congratulations. In the AQ course I'm teaching, Rochelle's teaching partner is taking the course. And in her introduction, she mentions Rochelle and says, my teaching partner Rochelle spoke highly of Roland, so I'm taking this course. And I'm like, the check is in the mail, Rochelle. The check is in the
Nice.
mail. I don't know how much the check is worth, but the check's in the mail, and I'm ready to throw my laptop out the window because I'm getting emails from your admin assistant about everything that's happening at your school, and I just don't know what to do with that information, Rochelle. So I've stopped reading anything that comes from your school. I just hit delete faster than you could imagine, and I just move on with my life. So
You can always do that with filters, eh? Like you could just set up a macro that erases
I could, I
or
could.
automatically files it in the
But then, bro, I
memory.
can't talk about this good stuff. I can't talk about how it shows up in the inbox and it bothers me and I hit delete. What else am I going to talk about if I don't talk about that stuff? So, yeah, this LOL, Rochelle says she told me that. Yeah, I'm really happy she's in the course. And I'm looking forward, Rochelle, to hearing from you when she tells you how much of a tyrant I am. That'll be a good one. And then Rochelle will never mention my name again about taking any courses.
Mhm.
It's nice. It's my one of my favorite things is to get these introductions from people and hear about their life because at the end of the day, we're all people, man. And we're all people. We all got our things going on. You're gonna love this. This is a good story. I want to talk about my dad, but the universe is shifting. Okay, I get an email from the university saying, if there are people in your course that haven't signed into your course, please give me their name and their student number so I can contact them. Okay. So I send the person in charge the names of these people. And the next day I get an email from one of these people saying, "Hi Roland," because I emailed everybody in my course to welcome them. This person writes back, "Oh my God, hello. Sorry I didn't get your email. I did not sign up for this course. I don't know how I'm in this course. Please take me out of this course. I'm not paying for this course." It was very polite, but it was like maybe I hit a button or something. I'm like, how do you register? How do you register for a university course and
It's
like by
usually a
mistake?
multi-step process.
Yeah. So how many times do you
They won the
pocket
lottery 7 times over.
How many times do you pocket touch the right button on your phone to lead you into a course? Anyway, so I write back and I say, not a problem. Like, I wish you were with us, but you're not, and that's okay. So I'm going to forward you on to the person in charge of that. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So that person's out of the course, and then there are two other people who haven't responded to my any of my emails, and they've not logged into the course. So I don't know what to tell you, but that whole thing's been amusing. But how do you sign up for a course when there are all these layers involved? I don't know, Chris. But I will tell you, last week, my wife gifted one of her work friends a gift card at Starbucks by mistake, all in her pocket. So I guess it's possible if you can send someone money, Starbucks money, out of your pocket without touching your phone, then I guess you can register for a course too. And I guess the the internet can tell the world it's my work anniversary and we can have people wish me well, I guess.
Mhm.
Rochelle says we were having a coffee bar Thursday starting at 7:45. Swing by. Rochelle, are you trying to get me fired? Really, Rochelle? Are you trying to get me fired? Rochelle, your principal doesn't want to see me. I
You
get
know
a
what? That's
vibe.
also
Get a
like,
vibe.
I'm also not a fan of coffee bar. Like, like this whole like bar. I want a scotch. Don't like just as soon as we start mixing up those words. This is where Starbucks has made the world confusing. Barista, coffee bar. You have coffee service at 7:45. Complimentary coffee service. Coffee bar. Ridiculousness. But I would show up for it. I would just be looking for the scotch. Okay, what do you got down behind the bar? We have cream and stevia. I know. Where's the scotch? Where's the scotch?
I will say I have a plan, Rochelle. I have a plan, but I can't talk about it on Decoded Podcast.
Mhm,
But I
mhm.
have a plan. So I'm going to stick to that plan for now and I'm going to move on. Can I move on?
Move.
Chris, I've been doing a lot of talking. Are you interested in sharing anything at the moment? You got anything you want to?
um, yeah. So the thing. So what I was really fascinated this week, and I think I ended with this in a polo. I think I was mentioning this to you yesterday about nudging the boulder and this idea of I there's I'm happy to be back on X, Twitter. It's useful to me right now. Uh, it it feels I get this kind of drowny feeling when I take time away from Twitter and I come back and there's still stuff kind of floating there that I'm like, okay, how haven't we not moved on from this? And one of the words that I it's I get it. I get it. I get why we say it. It's just not the word for me. I'm not a big fan of this idea of glimmers. Have you seen this glimmers? So glimmers or like green flags, like this idea that there's putting the positive spin on something that is inherently negative. Now I don't even know is it triggers and glimmers? Is that the pairing? I forget what's the dark side of glimmers.
I don't know because I've never heard the pairing together, but I am familiar with the glimmers.
Yeah,
The
so
lights.
glimmers, there's another word that was originally there, and then somebody said the other one is a glimmer. Here's why I'm not a big fan of glimmer, is that um it suggests a certain happenstance, like it's like an accidentalness to it, and accidental things to me are entertaining. I get it, but they don't feel useful to me in my work. For me, it really is about what is the how does the work get us to a better place? So for me, when I started to think about this nudging the boulder, I could say this week I saw some glimmers of, these the someone's behavior changing into a more generative, integrative way. I could say I saw glimmer, the writing became clearer. I could say that there are these glimmers, but I feel like it almost uh, demeans the process. And I guess you could say I saw glimmers of process. Somebody could push my, okay, fine, Clough, we'll just do it every way. We saw glimmers of the process emerging. Okay, fine, we could say that. But I always kind of want to honor the actual, like, all the heavy lifting that's done in school. I want to make sure that I'm there for every single step of the way, and I've become more embedded, more entrenched in that thinking, um, as part of the process, like just staying closer to the process and not really adhering to um, much happiness in the outcomes. It's just staying with the process and let's see where it takes us. Now that gets really messy really fast. I get it. We have to have outcomes, learning goals. I get it. I get those things are there. But I almost feel like the more time I spend in process, the more interesting outcomes might come from it. So this week for me, it really was where I would say I finally nudged the boulder. And because there is so much to our work in general, more personally, switching into, to a new school, new community, new program this year, I am hyper aware of the fact that steps that I had taken in the past that led to outcomes are not working like they used to. And so I'm having to constantly reconfigure how I'm approaching what look like similar challenges, but they really aren't. Like, I'm creating a template where there isn't. I'm sort of seeing, I think I've met this type of kid before, and that is actually limiting my progress because I'm not opening up and trying to find something new to help this kid with. So at the end of this week, um, I had several moments where I just felt like I got my hands underneath that and just lifted it slightly. Can't even say if it fell back into place, but I've uprooted it just a little bit and was able to kind of nudge it just to sort of recognize that it's no longer lodged in the place where it was. Now, I don't know what my next step is. I think I'm just going to keep doing the work. There are um, several different families that I'm working with to help their kids kind of grow in ways that the kid wants to and the family wants to. Had a great nudge with a family who has said that in the short time they've known me, this is the most active and vibrant feedback that they've received about their child. And that's a good bad. That's a good bad, right? Because I keep saying to them, we can't care about last year or the year before. We can't. I said that's going to slow us down too much. It's going to take us in the wrong direction. What do we need to work on right now? Right now in this meeting, what are we going to walk away from this meeting? It's the carry the boats. It's the carry the boats. I'm using that actively with families. What is the most immediate thing that you need to do and I need to do? Let's do it. We'll have another meeting in a week. Let's just work on that. And if you can't do it, tell me. I will not ask you to do something that you can't. So tell me for sure that you can do this thing because I'm not about to give you homework and you can't give me homework. We can only work together. So yeah, there was some really good nudges this past week. And, your engagement work, my background in, alt ed and all that, like this is this is the water that we've both been involved in for some time. Um, I think I've become more sensitive and eager to feel that nudge when you actually do can kind of move it in a direction. Remember, there's I don't even know if they're still posting up. I'd have to look it up. Was it the Beast? The Beast. Who are those two? They're on Twitter. I gotta look it up. And I don't even know if they're still. Oh, there were two. Um, there were two teachers. I think they weren't a part of. They weren't Ottawa Catholic, but they were out that way somewhere.
I think I know what you're talking about, and they did like a they used to do some writing,
Yeah,
and
they had like
yeah,
a. It was like a dialogue. I think they commuted together. I'm pointing it out because I think they, colloquially identified that size and scope of education by calling it the beast, right? And I think in some ways, I mean, I'm just kind of flipping it and calling it the boulder.
mm,
Um, but it's still that like it's such a big lift. It's such a big move when you finally feel it kind of because you're entirely aware of your effort, which is just slowly depleting you. And then you feel it kind of go kook. It just kind of like tips a bit. And you're like, oh, but did I feel that? Did it actually move? Did my effort, did my strategy, did my take on what I'm trying to do, did I nudge it? So this week I was entirely aware that I'm moving in the right direction with my programming and my connection with my families and also my connectivity in the school. I'm starting to build some bridges, which is quite nice too.
so that reminds me of something I heard this week. I read it and heard it, so it must be. I want to attach it to Ryan Holiday, but I could be
Mm.
wrong. Anyway, it's this business of the stonemason um, using like the hammer and the nail to hit at the stone to separate pieces of stone, and it's not the when you finally break the piece the way you want it to break, it's not the 85th hit that caused it to break. It was the 84 prior to the 85th, and it's basically like you you'll get to where you need to get to. You just have to kind of keep going and know what you're doing and just keep going, right? It's like that's what you've been doing, and you feel the boulder shifted a little bit, it moved, which is huge progress. And some people might say that's your progress in the month of September. Like they don't get it, right? It's like, yeah, and that's huge. And you and I, we live in that same world, right? Because my progress is very different than other people's progress. Um, and I don't know about you, but if I don't recognize those tiny little things, sometimes they're empirical, sometimes they're not. If I don't recognize those things, my mindset's going to shift in a negative way. I I I have to I choose to have the mindset focused in on the little bits that could happen instead of waiting for something big to happen and then the mind shift kicks in. It's like, no, I must go into this in thinking a certain way because when I come out of this, I want to make sure I come out okay. I don't want to come out and be down. There are some good days and there are some bad days. And actually, I don't even go by days anymore. I go by moments. So I might have a really awesome moment, and then the next moment kind of sucks. And I'm like, well, that's over. It's time to shift to the next moment, moment by moment by moment. And I like I like my days when there's more good moments than bad moments. And I think I'm responsible for making a lot of those moments happen. So saying all that, as soon as I heard you talking about the boulder, I knew what you're talking about, and I'm like, this is good. This is good because you're going every day, you're doing the work, you're building relationship with these people, families, kids. I would say 95% of the time when people see who you really are and that you're making an honest and authentic effort to do the right thing because that's who you are, then you build. People open up, people loosen up, and you build. And man, there's not enough time for people to do this in a way that'll make it happen faster than you'd like it to. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I got a principal connected with me yesterday and said I've been trying to find how to get in touch with you, which is funny because all they had to do was email me. But this person was looking for, like, I can't find the re-engagement referral form. I don't know where you keep it, so I'm just emailing you. And I'm like, that's the best way to talk to me is email. But this person says, do you, do you work? I've heard some good things. Do you work with grade sixes? So I write back, no, I don't work with grade sixes, but I am more than happy to consult and talk to you about whatever your situation is. I'm looking forward to that conversation with that person because whatever they tell me, I can pretty much guarantee that my response to them will involve something about, if this kid is not coming to school, who is going to the kid? Because I've noticed that this is a major step in the right direction, that someone leaves the school and goes to the kid. And I wonder, how will this be taken by the principal? Will they be like, "Great, that's a great idea. We're going to start there," or "No, we don't do that." Like, I'm I'm completely open to what's going to come my way. And I'm not saying that that is something that I would say to them, but most of the time it is. It's who's
You
going.
and I have landed there. We have landed there. Like that is the elephant in the room. Like if it's the tool. I mean, it is the tool. Like when you did the ride along with that one agency person, if the school is looking to engage in a way that is different, innovative, effective, clear, intentional, human, like why don't we just continue? Let's continue with this kind of philosophical conundrum that we had, a lot of people got into during COVID teaching online. We were already in our students' living rooms, bedrooms, kitchen tables, basements, back
Balconies.
decks,
Yeah,
balconies and back decks.
yeah.
We were there. We were there hanging with the family. So we've already burst this bubble of the fourth wall. I mean, this is just what you're doing is in that next space of building the bridge just a little bit wider and with a slightly different material. And to deny that that is a tool for education just means that they haven't walked your walk, right? Because the fact that you will mention that to the school now, I could totally see the look. Like part of it is it's an effective tool, but I think there's a small shit disturber part of you. Like you don't get it. Like this is the difference maker. You don't have to work too hard. This is the difference maker. Telling the parents when I'm working with them that the difference maker is that they're going to follow through too, because I am following through. Like it's just so clear. And if we don't, well, I guess we'll find another strategy that's already being used. But I I I I love that you go there. I understand the risk of you going there. And I also have deep respect for the protocols you've put in place that gives credibility and structure and a framework to how you do your work. Because I know that in year one, that was something that you were working on big time. Like, how do I formalize these interactions such that if someone were to ask me about how are you doing this thing and maintaining the dignity, respect, and protection of the children, like how are you doing that? You're like, here's how I'm doing it. And here's who I've collaborated with to talk about it. And here's my version 2.0 of it because the first one was okay, but this one's better. Like that's like you're breaking new ground with this position, but kind of telling a very old story to the teams at the school. You want the connection? Go there. Go
Yeah,
there.
and it's just it's so it's to me now it's normal, as you
Yep.
know. Like
You've totally normalized it. You've totally normalized it.
I walk into a school and the admin assistant says he's not here. I'm like, I know, I was just at his house. I need to talk to the principal, right? Or um, I walk in and they're like, he's here. I'm like, I know, I went to the house and he wasn't there. Like, it's it's just it's part of the work. It's part of the work. Like, oh, he's not here. Okay, I'll go to his house. What do you mean you're gonna go to his house? Well, I'm gonna go knock on the door and find out why he's not here. Right? And it's like people look at you funny. It's like it's all good. Parents know. Like they're like, "You're gonna go to their house?" I'm like, "Yeah, because they're not here and they're supposed to be here. And they're supposed to be here because we agreed that they would be here. It's not like it's not the you're supposed to be here because that's what kids do. They just wake up and go to school every day. No, we're
Yep.
past he doesn't do that. He's supposed to be here because I brought the Nintendo Switch. I have a donut. We built a plan for today and the plan's gone haywire. So I need to find out what's happening. What stopped getting to the school from the house
Hmm.
and then report back to everybody. Oh, the kid says he's not feeling well. He has a headache. Did he get the donut? No. Did we play Nintendo Switch? No. Why? Because that's what we agreed to do here, not there. And then they're like, oh shoot, like you're pretty hardcore. I'm like, there's nothing hardcore. You make a commitment, you break the commitment, there are consequences. He's not feeling well, so why would he want to play video games and eat a donut anyway? Like, it's funny because one minute they're looking at me like I'm crazy. The next minute they're looking at me like, oh, you're not being compassionate. It's like, no, no, you have to understand, and you don't have time to understand. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I give you Cole's notes because you don't have time, and I get that, and I try to respect that. So with this, so it'll be interesting to hear. I'm happy to hear this, and I'm actually excited to hear what is going on at this school that you thought of me, or that you talked to other principals about the situation. They're like Paul Roland. That's awesome. That there are people out there that are like, call Roland. Like he will dive into this. The grade six thing's an issue. I don't work with grade sixes, and this is a huge growth point for me. And I think you might appreciate this. Even last year, when I would get something like this, I would dance around it because I I don't say no, but I do say no. I would dance around it. There was no dancing. I respond, no, I don't work with grade six students. Like there's not going to be a let me check with my boss. There's no. The child is in grade six. I don't work with grade six students. So there's the no, but then there's the if you want to talk about it, I'm happy to hear the situation and kind of tell you
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
what I would start with in this situation that you might be able to do if you feel it's appropriate. You know what I'm saying? There's no
Yep.
if the principal's not happy and the principal calls my principal, well, that's not I have no control over that. And then if my principal says, "No, you're taking this on," okay, add it to my roster. I'm taking it on. But until that moment, the answer is no.
Yep.
But you know that even last year it was well, no. The answer's no, but I'm here to support you. And the principal's like, yeah, 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 let's talk. And I'm like, right on. I love this. I love that you want to talk. Um, I love that I can play with this in my mind at the moment, right? Because there's a difference between playing with one of these ideas in your mind and actually doing it, right?
Hmm.
Like, my goodness, the kid that I was talking about that was supposed to be at school that wasn't. I don't know if I told you this, but this kid where he lives on on either side of this house are people that work for my system. So on the one side is a principal of a kid that I'm actually working with at their school this year, and then on the other side is two teachers, an elementary school teacher and a high school teacher. And I didn't know this. So I go to this house. I don't know who lives next door. I don't really care who lives next door, but I found out from the principal that his wife works from home. And she would tell him there's some guy coming to the neighbor's house like 2 to 3 times a week and talking with the kid on the front porch, but the kid's supposed to be at school, right? So the principal was telling me this story because I was like, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. So So when I went to this kid's house, I got out of my I parked in front of I parked in between 2 houses. I got out and had a big smile on my face because chances are the principal's wife is working at the front window, and she's gonna be like, "There's that guy again." Now the principal knows who that guy is. It's me. So I had this big smile on my face, probably like an idiot, but it's good because I was feeling really good. And it was making me laugh. And I need that, right? Like that's part of my wellness. So I'm laughing, thinking she's going to tell her husband the guy's back. And the husband's going to be like, that's Roland. This is what he does. And unfortunately, that means that the kid next door is not doing what he's supposed to do if I'm around, right? So,
Yeah.
um, I don't brought a nice big smile to my face.
Excuse me.
But yes, we're you and it's kind of cool to talk to someone like yourself about the work that we do because I you understand. So when you provide me with feedback, I listen. A lot of people provide me with feedback and I don't listen because it's that Brene Brown thing. They're spectators, but they're not like on the arena floor doing the work.
Yeah.
But they're more
Yeah.
than happy to cheer me on or boo me, which is cool. They control. They can do that. That's within their realm. I'm in the arena. I'm fighting the beast or whatever. So say what you like. Now you're watching because you're visiting me, but you're a soldier. You've been in that. You fought the beast. You're still fighting the beast. It's just in another arena down the
I
street.
get it.
I
Yep.
know you. It's kind of fun to play with though. So when you talk, I'm like, yeah, yeah, tell me more. Like you do this too. There's a lot of people who don't do it, and they have a lot that they want to say, and that's okay. They can say it. I don't have to listen to them. I don't have to take their advice. I don't have to follow any action. Now, sometimes there's a nugget in what they say.
Yeah. I always assume so. And that's where I've been sometimes accused of being too diplomatic by people that feel like they're close to me. So I'll get the feedback from someone like, why did you keep listening? Like that person was completely dissing you. I'm like, first off, I can only disrespect myself. Like that really is, I really do believe that. And I said, second, I've learned from experience that sometimes a person will bury a truth in their bullshit. And if you're just patient, if you can maintain patience, and if you have time, again, we come back to that time, um, they're not actually burning their bridge. They're just trying to articulate a truth. And it can be messy, it can be terrible, it can be offensive, they could be yelling at you. I said, but I kind of need that information. I need that. I don't need the emotion. I need to sort of, I need to sort of wait out the emotional sort of like coloring of it so that I can get to like what are they actually trying to express here. I said because at least when it comes to the coworkers, I can't really choose not to work with someone. Like that's not really an option. At some point, I'm going to need something from them. I just what I've learned about the circles of this job. Um, I sometimes will know that three different people can get me the same thing. So if I'm choosing to go looking for that one thing, I may go to the softer option or the one that I have a better relationship with, but I'm not about to sort of remove somebody from my resource list because they're an asshole. Like I don't tend to do that. I don't do that professionally. I may choose somebody else or try and build another bridge, but I don't actually. I never really go the block list in that case when it comes to professional. So
Cool.
I like being able to walk in people's doors. I like being able. I like how operating that way makes me more mobile, that I can walk in places, I can be places, I can sort of I can stand with or beside a bunch of different people and get varied opinions. The cost is you open up the possibility of them offering their opinion to you as well. So you have to mind the gap. You always have to mind the gap.
I would say at this point in the game, there are people that I just don't go near. I don't I don't want to I don't want to hear it. It's
Mhm.
like what, and I'm okay with, there is a possibility that they could have some real good stuff for me, and I'm okay with losing out on that.
Yep, I
um,
get it.
you know, and even with all my new learnings and like my habits and routines that work to help me, I guess I'm still not at a point where I want to be in the same space with certain people. But maybe that'll shift, right? There's been a lot of shift, so shift happens.
I think it's entirely it's this isn't the one conversation, you know, I haven't been in much is I like this kind of I like this little, you know, bit of thought fuel, this idea that if you've done, you know, 20 years in a job, that you could be of two minds. You could sort of be saying something like what I'm saying, like I I'm not gonna block anybody. And you could say at the same thing, like you're like, no, you can't. Like I like that both of those ethos kind of exist. Because I think that we're both righteous in that sort of statement. You know, I think it honors, you know, both of our experiences in the job and what we need for ourselves moving forward. Because I do believe for some people, including yourself, like there should be the option to say, yeah, I'm never going to work with that person again. And system, please don't put me in front of them. Please don't put me in front of them. And for the system to kind of understand that because it's a human system, that the work that it takes, sometimes the work that it takes to overcome that or to build that bridge back it is not worth it. It is not worth it. Don't put your employees in that position. So I get it. I get that.
And so I'm glad that you said that because I wasn't thinking there. I was, but I'm more open now to just dealing with what comes my way because I think I'm more committed to doing what I'm going to need to do um, to help me. So, like, let's say I end up having to meet with someone that I've dealt with before and it wasn't a good experience for me. I before I would have said not happening. I'm not meeting with them. Now I'm like, well, okay, I'll meet with them and I'll smell the room. And if it smells bad and I don't feel good for whatever reason, then I'm going to do what I need to do to feel better, regardless of what they said or what they did or what they're going to do. It's like, no, you don't have that control over me anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not allowing that to occur. I'm going to
Yeah.
come in and do what I need to do, but if I'm going to be open to it and see what the vibe is. What do I get?
Yep.
And go from there. Um and I'm really comfortable right now with the idea that if it's not good, I'm not going to put myself in a situation over and over again where I don't feel good. It, and if I'm not feeling good, then there's something deeper going on because I I would say that I've kind of built a track record where I tend to go and communicate with all kinds of people. So it's not my default to say I'm not doing this or I'm not working with this person. That's not my default. My default is bring it on. What is it? Who is it? Let's build a relationship. Let's go. Let's get this work done. So that also gives me like I'm giving myself some credit here. That's not my default. If my default was I was difficult all the time, well, okay, but that's not it. So if I'm feeling and thinking in ways that are working against my wellness, I'm going to address it because
Well, the system enforces that sometimes. That's kind of that's the tension between um professional judgment and personal development. That tension I think always exists there, right? Where you know you get to a point where you know exactly what you need to get your job done in the best way possible to be able to make it home well to be good for your family and everything else that kind of like your job exists in this broader matrix of just living well. So, but I think there's always tension there between, yeah, that sort of the professional growth, the personal, you know, professional judgment. I think there's always that um, tension tethered to, you know, the system expectations. I
definitely.
I think I will say from what I've observed, you and I have become far more comfortable with not only doing what we know we need to do, but also telling the system, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And we can discuss it afterwards. But I'm going to, I'm going to, I'm not going to, I'm not going to do it and then beg for forgiveness. I'm going to be clear about my intentions and then we'll talk about it afterwards. And let's see where we land in that discussion. But I'm going to do this thing. This thing's happening. This thing's happening right now. This thing happened yesterday. And I'm just updating you, like whatever that frame is, right?
Right.
I had a very similar, it was funny. That's funny that, again, I like where this conversation is looping to. So there's a junior program for the program that I'm doing, and then there's a senior. So there's one for the 9. They shouldn't even call it junior. It's like intermediate and senior. So there's 9 and 10, and then the 11, 12. And we're putting together a plan. Something that should have been worked on in the past. There's a whole lot of shouldas that I'm still stepping in. There's should all over the place. Like should here, so much should. So much should.
Should happens. Because Rochelle
Yeah.
says our new slogan for our merch, shift happens, and so does should.
Yeah, should. It's just like I'm stepping in should all over the place. So so I'm conferencing with the senior teacher, so the person that's running the senior program. And as I'm laying out what I'm going to do, they said, "Oh, don't tell that person. Like you may want to reconsider not telling that person." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Well, that person was not in favor of that last year." And I said, "Okay, so what stopped it from happening?" And they didn't have an answer. So I'm like, so there was actually no firm answer why this plan didn't move forward last year, because there was one person that was disagreeing, and yet we're landing here this year and we still want this plan. So we're going to go ahead with the plan, and I'm going to tell that person that we're going ahead with the plan. And then let's see what their reaction to that is. Let's see if they can become a collaborator on this, because we're going to do this plan. And we know we're going to do this plan because the parents want the plan. So like we can sort of have a firm grip on whatever we want. But if the parents are savvy to the system and know how to sort of like help their kids through the system, it's going to happen. And if I'm going to be, I find I'm more of a parent advocate than I am a system advocate, this thing's going to happen. It will happen because I'm going to empower the parents to be able to have the right conversation with the system. And I'm also going to make sure that the parents are connected to the plan in a way that they're not just expecting us to do all the heavy lifting. That's how I'm going to do it. And the person's looking at me, they're like, never thought about it that way. I'm like, oh man, it's not saying no to the person. It's just saying yes to yourself. And let's see what happens when that person doesn't get what they're thinking is going to happen. Let's have that next meeting and say directly to them, I disagreed, I went in a different direction. And it's so empowering. And again, I don't know if this is a wise suggestion for someone that's in their first 5 years of teaching. I don't know if 10 years is the thing. You need to get some deep learning. And I will say I've done that work. Like I've taken the courses, I've met the people, I've done the friggin' season 7, episode 4, 269 episodes in the least. That's almost 300 hours of reflective practice. That's probably more hours than I've done in any AQ. This long game AQ of learning with you. Like, so if I'm saying this thing's going to happen this way, this ain't me sort of like flexing. It's because I know that it can be done. So I like this. I like this idea. Should everywhere. Somebody clean up that should. It's starting to stink in here.
I like that.
And I'm totally loving the when someone says to me this year, and it's happened quite a few times, like, oh, I just want you to know. You should just know. Like, and what they're doing, they're giving me case history. And I will say, thank you. That's fine. I'm still going to move ahead with it. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Like this plan is gonna work. So
the should is starting to smell.
The should is starting to smell. There's a whole bag of should over there. It reminds me of that. Remember that was it the Zellers commercial? What was it? Target. I shipped my pants. Do you remember that?
I don't know. I don't
What?
remember.
What? I guess it was at least a decade ago. I'll send you the link. It's a good laugh. It's just a good laugh. My family loved it. I don't remember if it was at Zellers or Kmart. It was one of those sort of like bargain franchises, maybe Zellers. And it was a whole thing on being able to ship your pants. Like you could actually order pants, right? And it's like you have Granny, I shipped my pants twice. And then yeah, it's just it doesn't it's too much, but it's funny.
Okay,
Anyways,
so when you said ship your pants, that rings a bell.
yeah, ship my pants. I ship my pants.
You ship your pants, you should your pants,
Yeah, you should your
um,
pants. You should on the floor. You ship your pants.
you should on the floor. Get that should out of the way. I almost stepped in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. What the hell
Okay,
is this? What the hell's this? Should
I like that. I like that. So more to come on my consultation. Um, Finished my coffee and then I
Yep.
decided this morning. So I thought yesterday, okay, I'm gonna bring the coffee machine up. Then this morning I was like, I don't want two
To the
cups of
room?
coffee.
To the office?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. I remember. Yeah, you were
the
talking about that.
Keurig. Yeah,
Yeah, the Keurig.
which is easy. It's not hard, right? Like
Right.
I thought about bringing it up, making my coffee here, having at least 2 cups of fancy whatever comes out of the
hmm
bag,
Randomizer coffee.
randomizer coffee, and then I'm like, no, I just want one coffee this morning. But I decided to go with a bubbly. I
Mm,
decided to
that's
go with
that's
a
the that's the blackberry
yeah. So coffee, a little bit of
buble.
buble. It's
hmm
tasty. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the blackberry.
It's
I
fun.
like the grapefruit. I like the
The
grapefruit one.
orange is good too. I like the orange.
I do tangerine. I think it is. I think yeah, it's a tasty one too. We
I thought,
tried the coconut one. It was on
hmm
sale. Don't do it.
okay, good to
Yeah.
know.
Or I mean, if it's on sale, do it. But yeah, we were not a fan. The lime's okay. The lime is okay. I think we tried a watermelon one too. We've tried some of the special flavors every once in a while. I kind of just see it's sometimes when I do the Walmart grocery pickup, sometimes like they don't have it. It's actually there's still like scarcity on some strange stuffs every once in a while.
Mm.
So
What kind of art do we have today, Chris? It's the boulder. That's awesome. That's awesome.
the
Move the
nudge,
boulder. Nudge the boulder.
nudge the boulder.
Pretty soon you'll be Sisyphus and you'll be just walking the boulder up and down the hill.
I know, eh?
It's a boulder
That's why I
moment.
put it. I intentionally, when I thought about it, I thought, do I do it on the hill? But I thought, no, you know what? That's not what it is. That's not what it is. That's not. I'm not cursed. There's not a curse here. This is me intentionally aware, intentional, aware, and clear. This is the lift, right? This is the heavy lift. So,
I like that you didn't put it on the hill.
yeah, I'm not. It's that cynical, right? And I get that. I get that myth. I get it. The false hope, that idea of false hope, and then having to do it all over again. I think even there's an extra part to that. Like, weren't crows pecking out their eyes too? Like, there's other stuff that's going on. No, this is just flat ground, heavy thing. Lift it, lift it, get it on its other side. And then someone else at some point is going to have to do the same thing. Get it out of its divot, get it onto flat ground, see if we can understand a little bit better. So, is it the Beast EDU? What was the name of that website? Those two, I think one of the teachers, I think their name was Kelly. They're cool. I had them on Chasing Squirrels back in the day.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a great conversation. They were one of the, I would say, groundbreaking bloggers. I really liked their blog, that they were taking their commute conversations and rolling it into a really, really long form blogging. Like, their blogs were long. They were dropping in like 4 or 5 page long, dense writing blogs, and it was cool.
Are you
I
going to
just,
try to find them?
I,
Like,
I, well, I looked on X. It's just I can't remember the actual Beast EDU. I get Mr. Beast. Beast, the Beast, the Beast EDU.
I remember.
And
I
I
remember.
think they had one of their kids had drawn they one of their kids had drawn the picture for their website.
Yes, it was like a
A weird stick,
sketch.
yeah, weird
Yes,
stick monster.
I remember all of it now, and I remember I didn't. I remember.
Yeah, it's the Beast EDU. I
Oh,
found their website.
okay.
Um, January 23rd, 2021 was the last time they posted. Oh,
Wow.
February 24th was the last tweet.
February 24th, 2023.
21.
Oh, holy
Wait,
cow.
wait, wait, wait. I'm seeing, yeah, they haven't been. Kelly McKay was one of the teachers, and Andrea Kerr. I'm gonna follow them right now.
Are you going to check in with them?
Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah, it's at the Beast EDU. The Beast is a conversation about learning for the curious, critical thinking, wait, about learning for the curious, critical thinking educator. We got to figure this out. It's a beast. It is. I love it.
It's not coming up for me. Isn't that strange? Uh,
At at the Beast EDU.
yeah.
What?
I'm just making sure my spelling's right. Yeah. When I go to people, it says no results at the Beast EDU. It's
Huh.
weird. Um, what the hell? If you have a second, just shoot me a DM with one of their tweets or something. I don't know why. Oh shoot, have I been blocked? I think I saw something. Hold on, at the Beast. That would explain that.
What? You've been blocked.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm looking to see.
There, I sent it to you. I DM'd you on X, Chids. I'm back sending DMs on Chids, on DMs on
Is
X.
it wrong that? Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. It works. I don't know.
Okay, you're not
Anyway,
blocked. Shwoo!
yeah. That
Integrity check. Back in check. You're good. You're whole. You're whole.
did I tell you that I? No, I never told you. I was looking at somebody's tweets, and I was going through their feed, and then I saw another individual in a picture, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember them." And I clicked on their name to see what they were up to. Blocked. I was
Mm.
blocked. So I was like, "Oh, okay. Not a biggie. I mean,
On that end, I just followed Brian Aspinall again. The last time I did this, I was blocked within 24
so
hours.
let's see if it's longer than that. This is funny. Are we
Oh,
done our episode today? Like,
I
should we?
think so. I think
Okay.
so. Yeah, although here's where there's the benefit of bringing up Brian. And Brian, I got no ill will, bro. You can leave me, you can pop me off. It doesn't matter. What I will say is that when I think of Brian brings to mind really fond memories of you and me going to that restaurant in Waterloo with the bao sandwiches,
Yeah.
because that was the last time I remember we were talking to him, like, Brian, like, can you unblock me, Brian? Can you take me off Isolation Island? And then we had those amazing uh pork belly and bao sandwiches, delicious. I actually was going to add that to the Foodapalooza list. If we could just do a swing by and grab one. I'm getting nostalgic for some of these other bites that I've had in your region. Yeah,
I
those
think
sandwiches were bomb.
I think Go Nuts add it to the list because nobody else is adding to the list. So
Yeah,
might
like
as
I
well.
think, yeah, would you be down going nostalgia route and going
Yes.
grabbing another? Have you been there since we were there?
Yes, but I haven't been there in a long time, and
So it's
I've been
been long
craving it.
enough.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
family and I have been craving it.
it's a good bite. They have
It
some
is a
good
good
bites. And I
bite.
love that it's just a little small joint. And it's like in the bottom of an apartment building, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
The
like,
the parking
well,
sucks, but
yeah, I don't remember.
It's
I don't.
difficult to find a spot, but it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Like you just get your stuff and go, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That was
Okay.
awesome.
This
So
this was season 7, episode 4, number 269 of the Decoded Podcast.
nudge that boulder, babies. Nudge that boulder.
Should happens. Okay, have a
Should.
good one.